For years, people have been lamenting the impending death of NAMM, especially considering that large builders like Gibson, Fender, and PRS are no longer attending the event and don't really seem any need for it. Well, I'm here to tell you that NAMM is not dead yet. Welcome to Get Offset. My name is Emily and you look simply radiant today. The other week, I went to Anaheim, California to attend the NAMM Show. Originally geared mostly towards connecting music instrument and pro audio brands with retailers, these days it definitely seems very much about appealing to the general consumers as well. For that matter, NAMM really leaned into, quote, creators like myself this year, but we'll talk more about that later. So Wednesday morning, we took a not too late flight out of SeaTac to Santa Ana. Thankfully, everything was right on time because we were on a bit of a time crunch. We had to take a cab directly to NAMM to pick up our badges, because as we all know, Wednesday is media day. Though the official NAMM show doesn't start until Thursday, like I said, Wednesday is for the media. I've only been to one official media day part of the show once. It's not really my jam, but there's another event I'm unfortunately very bad about attending, and I wanted to make sure I was on time. Yes, I'm talking about getting an early crack at the Ernie ball string vending machine. Nah, just kidding, that's not it. But just look at this thing. So awesome. You see, we'd been invited to the Martin Guitars Media Day for the past 3 years, and I finally got my schedule right so we could go. The event largely started with a press conference where the brand showed off their new guitars, talked about their commitment to sustainability, showed off the Hateful Eight guitar, rest in pieces, and treated us to a performance by Hunter Hayes from The Masked Singer. Just kidding. Sorry, Hunter. Loved you on The Masked Singer, though, for real. And let me tell you, Hunter Hayes is really good at guitar, if you didn't know that. Of course, Martin Guitars showed off some remarkable looking and very expensive ornate instruments. But what caught my eye was their more affordable and sustainability-driven models. Of course, acoustic guitarists love their exotic tone woods, but it's probably not the best thing in the world for, well, the world. Domestically abundant tone woods like maple are more plentiful and easier to repopulate. So Chris Martin himself discussed what they put into the guitars that feature more of these domestically abundant tone woods, while making sure they still sound like the Martin models we know and love. I'm talking specifically about the GPCE Inception Maple, but they also had a revamped X series that features affordable, sustainable, high-pressure laminate guitars. It was a great little event, and as I had mentioned earlier, they displayed the 1870s Martin guitar that was destroyed in the Quentin Tarantino film, The Hateful Eight. I believe it was Chris Martin who joked that they didn't blame Kurt Russell. Tarantino, on the other hand, maybe. If you haven't seen the film, you've probably read the story or even seen the scene where the guitar is destroyed. It was supposed to be swapped for a replica before it was smashed, but sadly that didn't happen. So the reaction from Jennifer Jason Leigh, who got an Oscar nomination for the film, is real. She knew that he was smashing the wrong guitar, and her cries of "whoa, whoa, whoa" were because Quentin didn't yell cut when he was expected to. So as she said in an interview, "You don't stop the scene unless Quentin yells cut." Martin has since changed their procedures for loaning out vintage instruments, so at least they learned something. After the Martin event, we opted to go back to the hotel for a bit of a recharge instead of hitting the official press day. We'd gone last year and frankly, it was crowded, loud, and just wasn't for me. But later on, we met up with Nisei Bell and Jason from Working Class Music and hit up a Taylor guitar event. Taylor is celebrating 50 years and had a lovely display up at a nearby venue. It was nice to see some of my favorite acoustic brands in the same day, basically both of them. The Taylor Guitars CEO Andy Powers spoke, as did Bob Taylor himself. Andy talked about how they focus on one tree at a time and one guitar at a time, and Bob talked about people and things and how things bring people together, especially at events like NAMM. Something that struck me was how both Chris Martin and Bob Taylor mentioned that they were celebrating big milestones, 50 years for Taylor and 190 for Martin. They both also discussed the first NAMM shows and how the event used to be at the Disney Hotel Ballroom and how far it's come. It was just interesting how they both hit on similar themes, and honestly, everyone seemed super genuine and sincere. And it's just always really great to see the people who founded or run these brands seem so down to earth and generally cool. Safe to say it was a great first night, and we opted to not go to another party after Taylor, instead heading back to the hotel, and that was a great decision. Day one of NAMM started right on time for us. We rolled up just after everything opened and headed straight to the Harman JBL Press Center on the main floor for some coffee. I ran into a friend, Kirsten, with whom I've worked for a number of years. It was really great to see her. I see some of these other brands that I talk to at other events throughout the year, but people like Kirsten, I really only get to see at NAMM. Next, I got to check out this little amp pedalboard guitar furniture piece from Onstage. It keeps a small amp and guitar set up nice and organized, and seems like a really great thing for a bedroom guitarist or someone who has to keep their setup in their living room. This is called their guitar workstation, and it's under $200. Please consider checking out links in the video description. I'll try to drop links for this and other products that I mention in this video. And of course, using affiliate links is a great way to support this channel, doing things that, let's be honest with ourselves and each other, we were probably going to do anyway. We then worked our way over to where the guitar world lives, with Ernie Ball Music Man being our first stop. I ran into Tim Dub over there, as well as Fluff, who got a new signature guitar with Music Man last year. It, like everything I've played from Ernie Ball Music Man, was flawless. I really loved this Ernie Ball strings and things display at the front of their NAMM booth. I didn't notice it at first, but that wavy design at the top was guitar cables. And of course, they had plenty of guitars and basses on display. Rick and I were kind of obsessed with the finish on this one bass in particular. I don't know if the video even truly captures how stunning it was. Of course, the Sterlings were no slouches. I got to demo their St. Vincent Goldie last year and was definitely impressed. I hope to check out more of their guitars in 2024. Let me know in the comments if there are any particular Ernie Ball Music Man or Sterling models you want to see demoed on Get Offset. Afterwards, I ran into some friendly and familiar faces at the Eventide booth, Nalia and Patrick. Patrick came to 42 Gear Street last year, and we had a blast talking about true crime docs and Eventide's new Riptide pedal, which I think won a tech award this year, which is really, really cool. Eventide wasn't too far from Red Panda, who I definitely wanted to check out. I did a few demos for their pedals in 2023, including the Raster, and believe me when I tell you the relief I felt when they told me they really liked that demo. I haven't told a ton of people this, but I filmed the Raster 4 times before I was happy with it. So please check out that video when you get the chance. It's a remarkable pedal that's really more of an instrument than a guitar pedal. The Red Panda also has something new coming up. It's a ring modulator called the Radius. I've never been a huge ring mod fan, but if I'm completely honest, it's probably because I had no idea how to use one for a really long time. But Sylvie from Red Panda walked me through a few settings on the Radius, and I was blown away by how immediately musical it is. This pedal may crack the ring mod code for a lot of people, and I think it's going to be one of the most exciting pedals of 2024. Oh, and of course, who could walk by the Cream Guitars booth without taking a quick video? I didn't get to play one this year, but they are pretty damn cool looking. If you got to play one, let me know what you thought in the comments. Eventually, I made my way up to the 3rd floor where Yamaha was. The new Pacificas look amazing, first of all, but I didn't get any video of them. Instead, my focus was pretty squarely on the piano they made for Prince, which is the last instrument he played on stage before he tragically died in 2016. Honestly, it made me a lot sadder than I expected it to, but it felt really special just to see it. Going back to guitars, another brand I'd hoped to sit down and play, but didn't get the chance to, was Vintage Guitars. They had some really cool looking instruments, but I was especially curious about this electric 12-string that was priced at £529, which is about 665 American dollars. The name of this one is the Surfmaster Thin Line from their Revo, R-E-V-O series, and I definitely want to check it out. So Vintage Guitars, if you're watching this, call me. Next up, we visited my friends at Seymour Duncan, and it was cool to see that MJ was there. Apparently, she was signing and meeting folks throughout the weekend. If you don't know about MJ, she's a legend and just celebrated her 40th year at Seymour Duncan back in 2023. In addition to their new Power Stage 100 stereo, which I need to film a demo for, I was excited to see their wall of custom shop options because I've never seen most of these in person. In case you didn't know, Seymour Duncan has a robust custom shop with tons of custom color options, especially for humbucker covers. I mean, just look at all these different colored Invaders and Nazguls. By the way, I have an affiliate link for Seymour Duncan in my video description. Using that to pick up a new set of, well, pickups is a great way to support this channel. So yeah, again, please consider checking that out. In the afternoon, I had a meeting at the North Hall with Sennheiser, but first I checked out some of the other booths over there. I really love working with Mackie, so I looked at their new Showbox. And if you missed the announcement, the Showbox is a dream for those who like to busk, play solo or duo gigs, and things like that. It features a breakaway mixer that you can mount to your mic stand, so you can make adjustments on the fly to levels and things like that. You can even stream audio to places like TikTok with the Showbox, which is really, really cool. I see a lot of people who go live on TikTok and Instagram and Twitch while they're busking. I think that's a really fun thing to do. This is going to make that so much easier for folk who enjoy doing that kind of thing. I finally made it up to the Sennheiser and Neumann booth after like 30 minutes or so. I couldn't capture the audio from this mountable instrument mic from Neumann, but I had a lot of fun hearing exactly how the sound changes when you adjust it, like really in real time. It sounded really good. I was also very much impressed by the Sennheiser HD 490 Pro headphones. They're super comfortable, great sounding open backs, but the magic is that it comes with this incredible software that lets you preview how your mix sounds in different environments, including cars, kitchens, and arenas. And that was the end of day one. A lot was packed in, but I still feel like I missed a ton of stuff, which leads us to day two. First things first, I visited some friends at PJD Guitars. I got to check out their work at 42 Gear Street and I fell in love. Here I'm showing off one of their higher end St. John models that features gold foil pickups and an excellent flake job, but I'm really more into their more affordable stuff too. The PJD guitars I played at both NAMM and 42 Gear Street were so lightweight and ergonomic, and if you know me, then you know how much I value those two elements in a guitar. I really hope they had a good show because they deserve some distribution in the United States. Right now you have to order them from Europe, from my understanding, and that takes a long time. All right, I'm pretty far out of order here, but I need to talk about Poly effects. I've had a Bebo for years, but I hadn't been able to check out the Josh Smith Flat 5 Overdrive. This thing has so many tricks up its sleeves, it doesn't feel fair to call it an overdrive. It's a computer and you're really only limited by your own creativity. Most importantly, it sounds really, really good, and having Loki from Poly actually drive the sounds, so I didn't have to think about it too hard, was really cool too. That's always one of my favorite things about NAMMs and these kinds of events. It's just playing the guitar while the builder or a rep shows you what the pedal is capable of. But what really made my day was the Verbs, their new reverb pedal. This has some pretty standard reverb sounds, sure, but what blew my mind was its IRs of real places. The, I'm probably saying this wrong, Inchindown oil tanks in Scotland features the world's longest natural reverb, and you can emulate that sound with this pedal. I had no idea a place like that existed, or that any place on Earth could sound like that. Similarly, an IR from an abandoned cooling tower in Belgium rocked my world. It created an almost delay-like effect because of the shape of the cooling tower and how long it takes for those first reverberations to return to you. And it kind of does this cascading thing. It was stunning. I'm not kidding, I'm not being dramatic when I tell you that this pedal gave me a newfound respect for the world around me. There's nothing else like it. Thank you to Loki for showing me that. It really was very, very special. Unfortunately, we didn't really get any footage of the boutique guitar showcase. It was pretty packed, as you can imagine, but I'm glad I got to see the new Cower guitar and meet up with Doug again. The new model is called the Griffin, and it's sick. I was listening to the 60 Cycle Hum podcast today, and apparently there are no parallel lines in this design. It's chaos and it's perfect. I hope to get to put one through its paces sometime. So again, Doug, I'm gonna text you. Thankfully, we did get some footage of the boutique pedal showcase. I didn't get to see everyone I wanted to, so sorry, summer school, but I did finally get to meet Acorn. I've been meaning to check out their stuff for so long, and I'm glad I finally got to get a rundown. Their sense of humor and design is so great, and I'm happy to report that the pedals also rip. The other brand I got to check out at the Boutique Pedal Showcase was Ground Control Audio. I've done a few videos for them, most recently the very, very good Bread Oath, but they have something new called the Uwu. It's a little buffer slash Tamagotchi where you take care of and grow your little character guy by playing guitar. Plus it has standalone games like Long Cat, which is their version of Snake. Extremely too cute. I want one badly. Oh, I also got to reunite with Philippe from Beatronics, who I met at the Oklahoma City Effector Marketplace. I did a demo for their Brazilian psychedelia-inspired fuzz, the Abeia. I know I'm not saying that right, and I don't know if anybody did say that right in the demos who doesn't know Portuguese, but keep that in the links. Did I mention that NAMM was going all in on creators this year? Well, maybe not all in, but they had a special event just for us. It was an open bar party with music provided by Dovey Das, who just kept pulling people up from the crowd onto the stage. The highlight was seeing embarrassing to admit, a childhood crush, Corey Feldman, perform. He commits to it, and you have to respect that. It was honestly a joy and an honor, so thank you, NAMM, for making that happen. It was cool. I was excited. People were excited. It was great. The only downside, and I want to be completely honest about it, and which is I feel really stupid doing because it's just some dumb creator party. Why do you, the viewer, care? But the party was very, very loud. We didn't stay super long, but we did have a good time. I regretted not getting one of those aura photos, but I really enjoyed hanging with some of the Reverb crew and catching up with Zach from Mythos Pedals after the main party. And I finally got to meet Mary Spender, so that was awesome. And that's it. That's most of what I saw at NAMM. Unfortunately, I really didn't get to see as much as I wanted to, but that's okay. I'd decided in advance I didn't want to go on Saturday, partially because I figured it would be packed, and partially because of some other things around town I wanted to do or see. One reason I didn't get as much floor time is because I had a really cool opportunity. I was invited to be on a panel about social media that was being hosted by Sennheiser. It featured myself, Larry O, Abiotic John, Sean Daniel, not Daniels, learned that, and the Samurai guitarist, which is especially cool because my husband and I really do enjoy watching his videos, especially enjoy watching his videos. It's kind of not the easiest thing in the world to convince my husband to just watch a bunch of guitar content with me, but he really always makes time for Steve's videos. It was a great experience, and I was just happy to be there. Big thanks to all my friends who showed up and made sure the panel had a good crowd. So, like I just mentioned, I didn't do NAMM on Saturday. Instead, we went to the Effector marketplace at Windsor Browns, which was nearby. It was hosted by Chase Bliss and Old Blood Noise Endeavors, but a lot of great boutique brands were there, including Caroline Guitar Company, 29 Petals, Beatronics, Maris, Empress, Alexander, and a few others, and it featured guitars from Black Bobbin, including Shelby's new Phantom. The Phantom was designed in partnership with Carlos Lopez. It's sick. It has the Black Bobbin Lawler pickups that have the Alnico 2 magnets instead of the Alnico 5 to give you that more vintage, warm tone. I'm trying to get the prototype to demo. We'll see if that happens. Really want it to. I really want one also, so maybe it'll happen. We stayed at the Effector marketplace for a few hours, and it was packed early. Last year it didn't get super crowded until maybe around 2, but this year it had a really good attendance really early on. Shout out to Philippe and Jesse and Courtney and Joel and Brady and Andy and Dan, like everybody. Joey, I just don't want to miss anybody, but it was so great seeing all those people there. I do think it's a lovely event. I want it to keep happening. I do feel like the space is a little bit small. After we left the Effector marketplace, my husband and I just kind of hung out. We walked around a bit, played some Pokemon Go, and then we went back to the hotel to chill before a party later that night. Well, there you have it. That was my NAMM. There are some things I'll look to do differently next year for sure. Firstly, I'll try to be a little bit more aware of my general schedule. Having things on my calendar for Thursday and Friday in the North Hall really took a lot of time away I could have spent looking at new things in the guitar section, because that's really where my deepest interests lie. I'll also try to do a better job of making an actual physical list of things I have to see and visit. Unfortunately, there are people I planned on seeing but just didn't get the chance to. And that I was kind of disappointed by that. Disappointed in myself specifically. But one thing I'll definitely continue to do is not stay out late and not really drink. At most, I had 2 drinks in a night, and that was at the creator party. Other than that, I mostly drank water and went back to the hotel by 11 p.m., so I felt relatively great every day. Well, I wish I had more, I don't know, a more satisfying conclusion for you. I guess briefly put, NAMM is alive and well, and I had a great time. Well, thanks for watching, thanks for understanding. I have links to a lot of things in the video description, maybe a few things even popped up on the screen. No pressure to ever use an affiliate link, but it is a great way to support the channel, doing things that I've said it before, I'll say it again, we were probably gonna do anyway, if we're honest with ourselves and each other. Well, until next time, my name is Emily. Goodbye.